You know who this is. We want to welcome our viewers today in the United States and around the world. Um, wow. Where do I begin? Um, I've gotten some requests recently to do some more topics for some mental health videos. In addition to that, I've been thinking of some more topics, things I wanted to talk about, whatever. So actually, I've got a lot of things I want to say. Um, I may have to actually make several videos. I don't want to make this one a really long video because people, for the most part, have short attention spans. So if you make really long videos, they don't watch all of them. But I need to say, first of all, that I want to recognize the upcoming anniversary date of Josh Marks. I think he was the first runner-up on Celebrity Chef. I can't remember whether it's season 3 or 4, so please forgive me for that. And I did a big video on him, I think a couple of months after I found out about his story. And it came to find out that he did commit suicide on October 11th of, I believe it was 2013, I believe. Please forgive me. Man, I have all the dates here. Let me see if I have that right. I don't have the year of the date. So of the yeah, it looks like it was October 11th, 2013, and I found out later, and I did the video. He was basically diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. The combination of those two disorders together is known as schizoaffective disorder, and by me reading the breakdown of his symptoms as they were accounted from his family and others in an article that I read, it sounds like he had schizoaffective bipolar disorder type 1, which gives you the depression and the mania, the full-blown mania with heavy psychosis. And it's just really sad. It's really heartbreaking. You can go back and see my video on that. But as I was sitting here tonight and I began to think about Josh, and I knew his anniversary date was coming up, and I wanted to do something to honor him, and I wanted to um, definitely include him in this video. I just want to say that I feel so blessed and fortunate to still be here because a lot of people really don't understand mental illness, and their first go-to thought is a person that has a mental health condition is violent, aggressive, or whatever. And the majority of times we are the victims of these types of things. uh, God knows I've been um, on the receiving end of a lot of negative things in my life that were heavily contributed to by the fact of being mentally ill. Um, I'm like, where do I start? I feel so fortunate to still be here, to still talk about these things, to make these videos, to try to raise the awareness. I look at so many people that have either killed themselves or have gotten killed, when authorities showed up to try to, I guess, get them to the hospital, and they couldn't respond to the commands because they were psychotic, and that didn't end well. And those stories are innumerable. I just have almost but stopped making those videos because they happen like every week, and it's like been too depressing. But what I want to talk about, because we're 4 minutes in this video, is the disparaging mental health care. And I've talked about before that services are so drastically cut. So what I want to say is that when you're going for mental health care services, keep in mind that for those of us who are consumers or use those services, there really aren't a lot of them out there, and particularly um, that is true for people who have low income or who are poor or who don't have insurance or don't have good insurance. So it's a lot of times like you have to kind of eat shit. And what I mean by that is, for example, I'm at a new mental health community center now that I actually like a lot, but I had to go through a lot of bullshit even to get into the program there, because sometimes you'll go and there'll be people that are, you know, not pleasant, maybe on the greeting staff or the initial people, but sometimes you gotta eat crow and deal with that to get past, you know what I'm saying? So what I want to say is, you may get a total asshole answer the phone when you call someplace. These people are angry, they don't want to be there, or they're irritated, they like, have a negative attitude about people with mental illness. So they're like, why in the fuck would you take a job like that? If you feel that way, or they take their problems to work and they take it out, on the people, the clients that are coming in. But, or maybe you get the initial person that does your intake. And I've had this on several occasions, particularly by being a person that's high functioning, um, you know, get comments like, "Oh, well, you look fine to me." Well, how could that be true? What you're telling me that you're having these symptoms or problems when you sound like you dress well, you're articulate, you're able to describe to me what you're going through. So I can't put it together. What I want to say is, don't be phased by that. Go through the process. You're not there to argue with the people. Just state what you're going to state. Get in the program, get in the door, because if you get pissed off, or if you get into a back and forth thing with the staff and they, wind up telling you can't come there, you may be out on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there aren't a lot of programs out there, for people who are poor, disadvantaged, no insurance or substandard insurance. So you have to make the most of it, and you have to equip yourself um, to be a co-partner in your mental health care. It means as much as possible. And again, I understand that everybody is at different levels of functioning, as with any illness, some people are doing better than others, or worse than others. It is what it is. But, you have to read up on your mental health issue, find as much material, go online, reach out to others if you can, to speak with them to find out how they're dealing, coping, so that when you go in, and see the doctor, if you're going for meds, that you have some intelligent questions that you can ask, that you can, try to understand, what they're prescribing for you. And I would tell anybody, if at all possible, if you can at all, manage your mental health condition without medication, try to go for that first. Again, if you at all can. Not everybody can do that, because a lot of times they're very disastrous side effects. I know people that have had them. I certainly have had them. And, I even had a mental health nurse, registered nurse. She told me she believes strictly in that. And she advises patients, mental health patients, that if you can, try to manage your condition without medications, do it, because a lot of times the side effects are irreversible, or you may have to manage them with other medications or whatever. But again, when you're going there, you may not get the most pleasant people initially at the door, but try to go in, get past that, get into the programs, into your therapy, get involved, and do the best you can, because a lot of people that wound up have killed themselves or whatever, or got into a situation where they wound up hurting other people, for that small demographic of people with mental illness that occurs with. These people weren't in constant treatment. They weren't in constant therapy. They weren't connected. They hadn't gotten, stabilized, or gotten to a place where they could learn how to live with a disability. You have to learn how to live with whatever your mental health diagnosis is, you know, and you're going to get a lot of that support right there as you go on to therapy. You're going to learn tools. You're going to learn coping techniques. You're going to also get encouragement from other people that you're going to group with if your facility offers groups. So again, it may not be perfect where you go or where you try to get in, but if you can get in there, please do it. You know what I'm saying? So many people are turned away, because they don't have proper insurance, or you get there and they only want you to stay a short amount of time because the insurance is only going to pay for a couple of days and you may need longer than that. So you got to do all you can to stay as healthy as you can, and I'm just going to say this, I'll leave that for another video because we're coming on 11 minutes. So again, this is just some tips on navigating what you need to do and the importance of getting connected into good mental health care, or at least making the best out of the mental health care services that you can access. All right. Peace and much love. Te quiero.
Recuerdo la primera vez que te vi, eran tus ojos que me enloquecían y tus labios me decían, ven donde mí.
I think a couple of months after I found out about his story, and it came to find out that he did commit suicide on October 11th of, I believe it was 2013, I believe. Please forgive me. Man, I have all the dates here. Let me see if I have that right. For some mental health videos. In addition to that, I've been thinking of some more topics, things I wanted to talk about, whatever. So actually, I've got a lot of things I want to say. I may have to actually make several videos. I don't want to make this one a really long video because people, for the most part, you know who this is. We want to welcome our viewers today in the United States and around the world. Wow. Where do I begin? I've gotten some requests recently to do some more topics. I have short attention spans, so if you make really long videos, they don't watch all of them. But I need to say, first of all, that I want to recognize the upcoming anniversary date of Josh Marks. I think he was the first runner-up on Celebrity Chef. I can't remember whether it's season 3 or 4, so please forgive me for that. And I did a big video on him. I don't have the year of the date, so of the yeah, it looks like it was October 11, 2013, and I found out later, and I did the video. He was basically diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. The combination of those two disorders together is known as schizoaffective disorder, and by me reading